Welcome back to the Mauch Tramway. I think this is part three, and we've had some progress with building some track work. Finally, after a year of kind of stagnation for reasons I've explained in earlier videos, I was able to start getting some track panels down. You can kind of see we're starting at the engine house and we're looking towards the woods, which this will be going down into the woods to a switchback and then down further down to the lower level where there'll be a return loop. So this was existing track up till you can kind of see the new ties right there. So that was the first piece I put in, which was a kind of a 6-foot piece to get to the switch. And I built the switch actually about a year and a half or 2 years, actually longer than that, probably like 3 years ago or something like that. I built the switch turnout in my shop. It's not complete. I need to add the guardrails or guide rails, I guess. And I also haven't done the points or any of the mechanism yet. But that's been sitting around, and I was finally able to get it in, put it in, so that was nice. There you can kind of see where we're missing the points, which I am building, and then we're missing the switch stand, and I haven't figured out what I'm doing on that yet. But from the switch, this is new track here, so we kind of entered the woods finally. And then you can kind of see I'm digging out for extending the line all the way down the hill there to another switch way down there in the woods behind that grove of trees, so I can switch back. Originally I was going to put a giant loop there, which would have been mostly a trestle, like about 3/4 a trestle to get down there, but it just... Maybe later on, years from now, I'll do that. But for now, I'm going to do a switchback, which I was trying to avoid. But I just don't, have the time to put into building like a giant trestle like that. You can kind of see the lower level was kind of to the right there in that clearing. And this is typically what I run into. So that rock had to come out. And you can do it. It's that's a metal bar, another metal bar, a lot of metal bars, a lot of wedging, sometimes whacking it with that giant sledgehammer just to break it into more manageable pieces. But it's fun. And again, I'm doing this all by hand, this whole railroad. I won't be bringing any equipment, even though, I know how to operate it, and it's not hard for me to get. It's just, I didn't think it was feasible, really. So I'm also kind of building some retaining walls as I go, just on found rocks. I'm not very good at stone masonry or dry stack stone walls yet, but I'm sort of getting a little better as time progresses. But this section here has actually required quite a bit of ballast to get it up to the level where I needed it to be. It was actually like a big drop off, and I kind of leveled the whole thing out, but unfortunately I've used up the majority of my ballast pile, which is right there, which was much, much bigger than that. So I'm going to get to the point where I have to kind of start pushing back to the garage, which is this way. There's the tie shed completely empty, so I have to make new ties. So this is the line that's going back towards the shed. Okay, that's a T-62 Soviet anti-tank mine. I bought it or TM-62 anti-tank mine. It's like 70s vintage. I bought it at an antique store. I think they said it was inert, or they didn't really specify. And there was an issue with some of them being imported accidentally that were live, but I think they sorted that all out, and the ATF found all those. But my wife didn't want it in the house, so it ended up in the garage, and then she didn't really want it in the garage, so it ended up in the woods. And it is an anti-tank mine, so it's supposed to take like a tank or a vehicle to set it off. So maybe a bear, I don't know, but I think we're pretty safe if it is real. So there's this is the extension that's going to go towards the driveway. And that's going to require a bit of work just to get around the back of the engine house because it's a cliff there, and I have to do a lot of filling and what have you. So I guess I was just zooming in on the rail profile. It's what's called a California rail style. So it's or West Coast, maybe West Coast rail. It's I guess more prevalent on the West Coast. It's a heavier rail or wider at the base, which makes it a little bit more structurally stable, I think, because the extrusion's bigger. But it also creates some, hard times when you're trying to bend it. So I have a bender that I have to push the rail through to bend it. So I also added a little bit of section right there to the track coming out of the engine house because I kept walking over that, and I was afraid I was going to trip. Well, I actually did trip over the winter. So there's the engine in the engine house, locomotive, and you can kind of see the headlights that I'm working on there. And okay, so now we're in the shop, and I'm building that first section of track, like the one I said was about 5 or 6 feet. And, obviously sped up quite a bit. I wish I built them this fast. There's a lot of different ways to build track, a lot of jigs that hold everything in perfect alignment. I'm doing mine a certain way. I don't have a lot of room to store a lot of different jigs. So I'm doing a little bit more by hand than maybe some clubs or individuals do. But it works for me so far. I might change that up as we go along. So those are the ties. They're 2 3/4 inch by 1.5 inch pressure treated. And there's the rail that I talked about before, the West Coast profile. It has the wider base on it, which is kind of what makes it the West Coast. But I think it's the same height as the East Coast or the rest of the world. I'm not sure. The rail comes in 10-foot lengths. It's aluminum rail. It's pre-drilled on the ends for holes, but you still have to kind of drill a lot because it doesn't always end up perfect. There you can see the height is a little over 7/8, and the base is about 15/16 wide, almost an inch. I am using tie plates. These are I bought these. If you saw on that, there was a directional indicator. You have to put them a certain way facing. There's an arrow that says in. They come in boxes of 250. I'm using stainless steel screws to put the rails in, 2 per tie plate, and I'm using aluminum rail joiners there with nylocks, all stainless steel nylocks and bolts. Here's some of the tools I use. These are my track gauges that I made. They're plastic, but I've seen a lot of them in metal. This is a tool I use to mark it's made by Craig. It's like a measuring tool. I use it to mark the edge of the tie plates, where the tie plates go. So I can kind of line it up based on the tie plate on the track. And then I put the one rail in, and then I gauge it. So you can kind of see, I guess I'm outside now, and I'm holding the phone upside down maybe, but I don't use an impact driver. I use regular drill with the torque set down quite a bit. This is kind of my kit for outside that I have. Rail joiners, bolts, screws, wrenches, pencils, tie plates, another set of gauges. And the S on the gauges just means straight. I have ones that are C and C+. Those are for curves and extreme curves. They're a little wider on the curves. Those are the stainless bolts to hold the rail joiners on. Use 2 rail joiners, one on each side when you join them together. There's the stainless screws, and some knee pads, level, some things to pry, shovels, brooms. I'm going to have a separate video on tamping the ballast and how I do that. I apologize that this is upside down. I was not holding the camera right. So now we're back in the shop building another section. My jig's only 8 feet long, so that's I just don't have the room. Like I said, I don't want to store a lot of different jigs for a lot of different things. So I can do it. It's been working this way. I put the ties in, I mark it, screw in the one rail, and then I gauge off that with the you see right there, I'm using the gauges to gauge it. And then I actually just pick it up and move it down and add more ties to get to kind of fill out the 10 foot. Just keep it engaged there with the gauge, the track gauges. The gauge is 7 1/4, so it's exactly 7 1/4 between the rails. Now you see I moved it down in the jig, and I'm cutting a few extra ties there to fit in. So now I have my full 10-foot piece. I also aligned the rails based on the track it was joining with. So I'd want to have to cut the rail or drill it. And I carry it outside, just throw it down where it goes. And now I'm outside leveling off. This is that first shorter section I built, bolting that in. Again, it's a lot of work, but it's and I'm going to be doing it all mostly myself. My son will help me a little bit when he's around, and if he's feeling like it, and hopefully my grandkids, I can convince them to help me especially with the ballast. They like digging stuff. Adding that, now you can see I'm putting the ballast in. I do level the track in both directions, so I'll level it that way, and there is a grade. Now, the between the new and the old section, you have to add ties in there. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm adding ties to support that section because I leave the rail set back quite a bit. So now I'm adding the turnout. It's a number 5. Like I said, I built it 2 or 3 years ago. I think in 2022 I actually built it in my old shop. And so it's been sitting around since then. And I finally get around to install it. Like I said, it's incomplete, need guardrails, and I have to do the points. And there'll be a separate video probably on the points and the linkage and the switch stand. I actually have to design a switch stand and send it out to get cut by the laser. But I have an idea for that based on a lot of what I've seen in other people's videos. Again, separate video showing tamping. I am not going to have a ballast car. I've seen too many videos with ballast cars, and it doesn't seem to go that well, to be honest. I think just putting some drywall buckets on a gondola or flat car full of ballast will work the best for me anyway. So now I'm adding to the end of, that's a 10-foot section. We're starting to go into the woods, and you can see how much space there is. And I actually just bolted the track in, and then I'll start there. And there's 6-7 inches of space underneath that track right there. And I have it blocked up on the other end with some wood blocks about where I want to get it, get it level. That's what I'm doing now. Try to straighten it, and then I'll put in some, straightening it, leveling it, and then I'll just start filling it in with a lot of rock to kind of get it filled in. And again, we'll be going back to tamp it. So that's it for the track. You saw in the beginning all the work that had been done, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of me cutting starting to cut the points. I'm cutting the points out of. I think it's 1 inch channel, steel channel, and I think it's 1 inch. And I have to cut the way I'm doing it is I'm making tabs that I can bolt it on to the aluminum rail, and the tabs need to kind of fit in that pocket between the rail head and the rail base. And so that's kind of what I'm cutting out. I'm just doing it by eye, along that seam where the channel turns. And it does, I'll take it outside and like make sure it fits on the turnout. But I have to, bolt it to the rails there, and then I also have to shape that whole channel to like a V, like a long V. It's 26 inches long, and it goes from full width to nothing. And that'll be a separate video when I get in, kind of delve deeper into how I'm making the turnouts anyway. And just a word, if people, I know there's a lot of people probably watching this that have a lot of experience with building these railroads, and I'm always open to criticism, or hey, this is how I do it, this is how we do it. I'm very open to that. I don't need to always be like, hey, it looks great, wonderful job. You can tell me if it looks like I'm doing it wrong. Let me know. I'm happy to. You only get better when you improve yourself, when you with critique. So I'll leave you with that, and there's the points, and you can see the tabs on the far end there. So thanks for watching my channel, and hope to see you back soon with either a video on finishing the turnout or on probably the locomotive, as far as the Mauch Tramway 7¼ inch outdoor railroad series goes. You can always check out my other videos too. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care.